rebuilding. The catastrophic failure, a new start. Physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40. We focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 122 of the Silverback Blueprint Podcast. What supplements a silverback should be taking? I've been wanting to do this one for a little while, and the reason being is I get asked quite often, what supplements should I be taking as a guy over 40? What supplements do I personally take? We sell supplements. I believe in supplements. If they're good quality, if they're the right supplements, and they're taken properly. I mean, those are all the caveats to this argument overall. And here's the one basic thing I also want to make a point of saying before we go any further is that you have to have a good diet at the same time, though, guys. And you have to ease off on the booze and the smoking, because at the end of the day, those bases of a better diet and easing off on the alcohol and the smoking have such an effect on the body overall that I'll be honest, no supplement is really going to be overcompensate or overcome the negative attributes from not having these things, right? So at the end of the day, if you're eating like shit. And I don't mean like where you're eating a guy like me that eats eats too many carbs, and that's why I have to deal with my body weight issues. But I still make sure I eat enough protein and I eat enough vegetables. Like I eat good overall, quality wise. I get enough quality in. I just overindulge in the carbohydrates. That's my struggle. Now that being said, one of the reasons why at 50 I'm stronger than I've ever been is I'm sober now almost 4 years, right? And back in my drinking days, I didn't drink one beer every once in a while. I drank lots of beers often on a regular basis. So when we're hitting the body with alcohol consistently over and over again, we're suppressing hormone production, testosterone, growth hormone. We're tying up the liver to process the alcohol, so you can't burn body fat. You're not recovering. Your muscle tissue isn't recuperating. It just doesn't work. We get away with it when we're younger because our hormone levels are so high that we can get away with it. But even if we get away with it in quotations, we're not really anywhere near our maximal potential at that stage of our life either. Let's not kid ourselves with that, right? You know, at 20-some years old, if you're living a cleaner life, I guarantee you everything else that you're doing is running at a higher level, and you're operating at a higher level of efficiency. And it's only more important as we get older overall. Same with smoking, guys. If you have a cigarette or two once in a while, that's not going to be the problem. But at the end of the day, if you're putting back a half a pack a day, 2 packs a day, and I mean, I know a lot of guys doing that, you know what? The devastation to your body is, first off, I'm not guessing about the devastation. It's fucking scientifically proven. Right? So I'm not saying stuff here where I don't know where your information comes from on this, Kurt. It's scientifically proven that kind of smoking, you're killing yourself. You know, thousands and millions of people, in North America die every year because of smoking. So let's not play that fucking game. That really pisses me off. But on top of that, when your body's dealing with all those carcinogens and stuff like that, well, you know what? The same thing. Your organs are not operating properly. Your hormone production is horribly, compromised. You're not going to build muscle. You're not going to get stronger. I don't give a fuck what else you're doing. It's ridiculous. I get a little angry because, people just don't want to believe that. You know how many people come in, they tell me they're doing everything right, and all I can smell is the fucking booze off them, or I can smell the cigarettes off them? Well, you're not. I'm not a born-again, anti-drinker because, I'm sober. But a fact is a fact. When you drink a lot, you suppress all those things we talked about. You're not going to get leaner. You're not going to get stronger. You're not going to get healthier. I don't give a fuck how good that wine is. And we're not even going to get into the other effects of drinking. That kind of stuff, because that's not necessary. That's not what this podcast is about, this episode's about. We're talking about rebuilding muscle tissue. We're talking about being stronger. We're talking about being a better version of yourself. And no supplement is going to compensate for those 2 or 3 really bad behaviors that are done on a regular basis. So, just full disclosure. But when we get into the supplements, if you have a good diet, this is gonna make a big difference. If you're, stepping back from the booze and you're stepping back from the cigarette smoking, these things will make a huge difference in and of itself. But then when we add good supplementation to it, it's gonna be even better. So number 1 for me is protein. We need a lot of protein. You want to build muscle, you need protein. You want to get stronger, you need protein. You want to produce testosterone, you need protein. In fact, for protein, our body needs protein just to stay alive. All our organs are made out of protein. So if we're getting a limited amount of protein in, the first thing the body's going to want to do is keep our organs alive. It wants to keep our lungs working. It wants to keep our brain working. It wants to keep feeding our heart so we can maintain it. Because without those organs, we're not going anywhere. So that's really the first role of protein. The second thing protein does is it's for muscle, so that we can lift things and move things. And if we train and we do it right, then we're going to call on the body to want to produce and maintain more muscle tissue. Well, to do that, it's going to require more protein in our diet to do so. And we need muscle to be physically capable, but muscle is also a storage area for protein, so that if things do run short, our body will cannibalize our own muscle tissue to break down into protein for our organs to live off. So it's like a storage thing at the same time. So that's why if your protein levels are too low and you're trying to work out, right? Well, your body only has so much it can do with the limited amount of protein. So it's going to go to, to keep you alive first. Performance will become number 2. I like to work with 1 gram per pound as a starting point. And you can go up a little bit or down a little bit from there. But I guarantee you, most women I talk to are nowhere eating 120, 150 grams of protein a day. Guys should be, 200 plus of protein a day. And that's where a supplement like a protein powder comes in handy. Because if you try to get, for me, I try to hit 300, 350 grams of protein a day. That's a lot of chicken. It's a lot of steak. It's a lot of fish. So it's hard to do just eating the whole foods. Now, you still got to eat whole foods, but that's where a protein shake makes a big difference, because 2 scoops gives you about 50 grams of protein. So I'll usually have a shake in the morning, and I'll have another one post-workout. Well, there's 100. If my meals are a little tight that day, I'll have a third one. So there's 150. And timing is important too. First thing in the morning, get the body fed, start things up. Post-workout, start recovering right away, because it's easily digestible. It hits the bloodstream pretty quick, so the body can get on it and pull it off from the blood into the body where it needs it. So super, super important. In fact, I think it's the base. Until you get your protein requirements, you get that under control, it really limits how well you're going to do anything else. So that's one of my big things. The number 2 I like to work with a lot for strength and overall health is creatine. Most studied supplement on the planet, safest supplement on the planet. More and more studies coming out all the time how it doesn't just help muscle mass and skeletal muscle and strength, but everything from Alzheimer's to brain function, all kinds of things. Benefits are coming out from adding creatine to your diet. 3 to 5 grams a day. You can load for a little bit if you want, whatever. You can maintain with 3 to 5 grams, 10 grams if you're a bigger person. You'll recover better. You'll be stronger. Your muscles will be fuller on it, because the creatine is going to pull more water into your muscle cells, which is good. It's like a battery. It needs a certain amount of water for it to be able to conduct itself. It's the same with muscle tissue. It's like a balloon, so you want to have it full. So we use creatine. It pulls more water, glycogen, and protein into that sac, so it's tighter, more power in those batteries. So you're going to have more size, but you're going to have more strength and more endurance. So that's going to help you on a performance level. If all of a sudden you can lift 10 more pounds, and you can lift that 10 pounds 100 more times in a workout, ideally that's going to cause your body to want to build a little more muscle or get a little stronger, right? Or change, your composition a bit overall. The third one I like to use a lot, and especially for you guys over 40, is Tonkat Alley. Good for helping the body produce more natural testosterone. We need testosterone as men. When our testosterone levels are low, a bunch of things go bad. We burn less fat, we hold less muscle. Our mental focus, our guy factor, how we feel when our T levels are down, right? We get depressed. Our libido, our sex drive, all those things are tied in to our testosterone. So something like a Tonkat Alley, a good quality one obviously, will help the body by signaling. When you take it in, the body will signal your testicles basically to fire up more testosterone. Now, consequently, for that to happen, for your body to manufacture more testosterone, it needs proteins and fats as the building blocks. So if you don't have enough protein in your diet, you don't have enough good fats in your diet, your body can tell you all day long, itself to, hey, produce testosterone. But if it doesn't have those key building blocks, it can't do it. If you're trying to get your body to produce more testosterone, but you're slamming the testosterone producing furnace down because you're taking in too much alcohol or you're smoking, right? You're at one end you're saying, hey, produce more, but then at the other end you're taking in products into your system, that's shutting down the production, tying up the organs so they can't do it properly, right? So again, super important. We got to remove those negative aspects, smoking and booze. We got to add more protein and good fats as a building block, and then we got to signal more testosterone. So that's where Tomcat Alley comes in. And interesting enough, when you start doing physical activity, it's another way that the body will call on more testosterone. But as you do more physical activity, you also use up that testosterone. So it really becomes a cycle that's super important that you get on top of as soon as possible. So when I'm working with guys over 40, that's one of the first things I start working on is what are they eating? What are they taking? What are their vices? And we start changing those things overall. Tomcat Alley, I have a ton of clients that buy it from us. And the ones that do really well with it are the ones that have also worked on their nutrition, also worked on cleaning up the vices. And I have a lot of guys who just, hey, they'll buy it, they'll buy 2 bottles and they'll use it and they'll say it doesn't work. But then when I get to them and I get a chance to talk to them and I find out that they're drinking as much as they did before and they're smoking as much as they did before, nothing's going to overcome that. So at the end of the day, you got to be honest with yourself. The other supplement I like a lot is branched chain amino acids. You'll know them as BCAAs. Again, those are 2 or 3 key aminos that our body doesn't manufacture properly, so we need to take them in from our diet. But again, a lot of our foods that we eat don't have a high amount of the branched chain amino acids in them. And we'll link a bunch of stuff at the bottom of this podcast to send you to some different spots to look at this stuff more in depth. But basically, branched chain amino acids, what's really cool now is they're usually in a flavored powder. So it's like drinking a lemonade or a blue raspberry. And I'll drink that throughout the day. So what it does is by having extra branched chain amino acids available in our body, it helps us protect our muscle tissue from breaking down as fast in between meals and digestion and with physical activity. So now that I'm working again, trying to clean my diet up and recover more from the heavy workouts, I have a 30-ounce water jug. I'll fill it up and I'll throw in 3 or 4 scoops of branched chain amino acids and mix it up, and I just drink it all day. And now that I'm drinking more of that, I'm actually drinking less Diet Pop, which is good overall. But the nice thing about it, and for me where I struggle with, is another thing that's important is drinking enough water, staying hydrated, 2 to 4 liters a day. I've always had a hard time just drinking not plain water. I've always found it has just a zero taste, and I just don't enjoy it. But what I like about the BCAAs, because they're flavored, I find it's a lot easier because it tastes good and it feels that need for me to have something flavorful when I drink. So I find since I've been doing that, big difference. One side effect I'll say though is when you drink 2 to 4 gallons of water a day, you are going to fucking pee a lot more, which is good because it cleans out a lot of stuff out of our system. But there's a lot of pee breaks when you're driving down the main highway to Toronto on the 401. So you got to get used to that overall. And again, a little bit more after the workout if you want. But I like it. I like drinking it during the day and during the workout. I feel better with that. And then pre-workout. Now this one is sort of a pro and a con at the same time. So when I say pre-workout, I'm talking about a stimulant-based thing. So something that's going to have caffeine in it, synephrine, ephedrine. These are all stimulants that are going to stimulate your adrenal glands. So you fire out more adrenaline, so the fight or flight. So the cool part about that is that it makes you want to work out, right? You get all like wired and like, fuck, let's go. The negative part of it, though, is if you take a pre-workout for every workout, then I think you're doing yourself a disservice as well, because your nervous system is going to get dulled to it after a while, and then you're going to have to take more and more just sort of to feel it. And there's a point where you can get adrenal fatigue, where your adrenal glands have just been firing so often that they're just like shriveled up raisins now, and they just not much comes out anymore. So you have to be careful with that. I try to keep my pre-workouts for my heavy bench days because those are the days that I'm hitting it really hard. I tend to work out in the evening on that day. So the pre-workout really helps me step it up to the next level. So that's important for me in a performance base. So maybe I'm taking it twice a week. So the cool part about that is because I'm only taking it twice a week, when I do take it, I really feel it. So I get that effect that I'm looking for. If you have to take a pre-workout just to come into the gym to work biceps and triceps, I think you've got a lot of nutrition issues to solve. I think you've got to learn to pick your battles a bit more overall. But done right, pre-workout is phenomenal. And a pre-workout is good too, because sometimes we have those days where we just really are tired. I've had a rough couple of days, maybe up late a couple of nights, a lot on the go. That's a great time to grab that pre-workout and fire it up and get us into a good workout that we might otherwise skip. But if we find that we're always tired and we're always lagging when it comes time to workout, there's other things to look at. What's up with our sleeping patterns? What's up with our stress levels? What's up with our nutrition and our food? Because if you're eating better and you're supplementing well, you're going to have a lot more energy overall. So really, that's what we're trying to cover, that kind of thing, is that, if you start some better habits, you clean up your nutrition, remove the vices, when you kick in some supplements, you're going to get like a 10x effect from them overall. And to me, that's super important. Do you need to take all these products at the same time? No. Protein should always happen. Over 40, I'd be cycling your Tomcat, so many days on, so many days off. We have protocols for that. And the BCAAs, those are like the three I would keep going. And then I would throw creatine in for 6 to 12 weeks at a time. I would use pre-workout on a couple times a week as I need it. But protein, the Tomcat, increasing the testosterone, and the BCAAs, to me, those are like the three you should be just doing consistently. That just, again, by doing it every day, shoring up the fact that, you don't want to be short on protein, so you have ample amounts. It's going to make a big difference in your recovery, your performance, your metabolic rate. You're going to burn calories at a faster level. It's hard to really get fat, eating a little extra protein, whereas it's really easy to eat too many carbs and have more of a fat issue going on with that. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, you can't, if you have 1,000 calories of protein a day, and then you throw your carbs and fat on it, you're going to get fat. That's just the way it works. Overall calories do matter, but protein is far more beneficial overall. And especially if you need to lose some weight, we can afford to cut back on the carbs overall. And that's something we'll do a little bit later on a different episode. But again, if you look at these supplements and you work with them and you be consistent with them, and you clean up those vices and shore up your nutrition to be better, you're going to see a big difference. A big difference in how you feel, your energy level, and your performance. Right? Performance in the gym, performance at home, if you know what I'm talking about, that kind of stuff, chicka wow wow, that kind of thing. All those things make a big difference. If you have any questions specifically about this stuff and what you're doing or what you're not doing, as always, guys, reach out to kurthaas@gmail.com and just say, hey, Kurt, the episode on nutrition, I got a couple questions. I'll be happy to help you out with that kind of stuff and give you some advices, as Arnold would say, and stuff, right? But again, the big takeaways on this one, guys, is good supplements do work if you use them properly in the right environment, and that's in the environment of a better overall diet period and removing the vices to stop counteracting all the good things you're trying to do. These supplements will kick ass and make a huge difference overall. I know they have for me, and I know they have for a lot of my clients that I've worked with when setting them up on their own protocols and stuff, right? So again, like I said, if you have any questions, kurthaas@gmail.com, and I'll happily help you out. We'll have some links here in the show notes to give you a little bit of direction on some of that stuff. And as always, guys, head on down to the bottom of this episode. Give us a 5-star rating. Give us a review. Head on over to hostilegear.com. Use the code Silverback. Get 20% off some amazing stuff. Because as the abs start to come in, you want a really cool hoodie to go over those abs, right? And until those abs come in, it's good to have a hoodie over those non-existent abs as well, too. It's just, what can't a hoodie solve? If there's nothing, I don't want to know. Guys, that's all I got to say for now on that. I'll talk to you guys later. And as always, work hard, motherfuckers.